the law of this jungle is as old and as real as the sky. And the wolf that abides will prosper, but a wolf that breaks it will die. You see, out here in this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. I used to run with the pack, nowadays I run for the pack. Represent from the front to the back, balls in my heart, my city and the map. I was in the field, you're sitting in the bench. See me in the gym, rep till I'm bench. Sweat till I win, that's a victory stench. Yeah, we stay ready for the war, man, I settle in the score. Settle it. Right now I'm with the hype, I ain't in it for the light. I was down on the ground, now I'm up for the fight. I'm on it. Seaside at the dark, now it's into the light. Out for more, down for my team. I wake up and I'm chasing a dream. Done dirt, but my crep stay clean. Send for me, rude boy, I am me. Look at my tongue with the verses. Clean sheet in him, and I'm on a verse with. Prize fighter, I'm taking the purses. Death match like your family in hearses. The law of this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. See, out here in this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack.
A very good morning and welcome to Matchday Live Extra from today's home of football. I'm Mikey Burrows, alongside me is the Hall of Famer Andy Thompson, and on a Portuguese scouting mission is Claire Heckman, the former Wolverhampton defender, because that's where we sign all our players from these days. Don't know if anyone's noticed that we like to sign Portuguese players. People might have pointed it out on social media over the last couple of days as if it's anything new. We have a brand new record signing to talk about today. He starts, by the way. We'll bring you the full team news very shortly indeed. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the departure of Morgan Gibbs-White, and we'll talk about generally everything in what's been another crazy week in the world of Wolverhampton Wanderers. It is never quiet at the moment, and I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing sometimes, but we will wait and see. We are at Tottenham Hotspur, an away ground that we have been relatively successful at in the last couple of years, including Wembley when that was their home. We've won 3 of the last 4. We'll talk with the guys about whether that record can continue here today. Let's get into it then. A quick bit of reaction to the Fulham result last week, which feels an awful long time ago now, Tomo.
Yeah, so it was one of the best games. We had opportunities, especially in that first half, to win the game. Saw saving the penalty again, fortunate the points in the end. But like I say, we had opportunities to put the ball in the net, but we're finding it very, very difficult at the minute to actually to score anything or to create opportunities for us to put the ball in the net, and that's always going to be a concern. We had the same last season. At the beginning of the season, we couldn't score. I know we've got that one goal against Leeds, Prudence, but we just don't look like we're going to score in front of goal, unfortunately. And we've got to try and rectify it, and he's done that by bringing new faces into the club.
Yeah, there's a lot of change. Claire, it felt after the game last week like we needed a big moment this week. Something needed to go right for them, because we were looking at another season where we look at a team that is comfortable on the ball, that can play it around, but can't always get it in the back of the net as often as they would like. And hopefully that's been rectified. But that's the pressing issue, right? That's above all else. From the first 2 games of the season, Wolves need to score when they're dominating position.
Yeah, 100%. I think definitely lots of bright parts when we've been playing. But I think the key point for me was that it's just one shot on target against Fulham, and that's the most important thing. We're just lacking that cutting edge. I think we've been very bright on the ball, and lots of positives to take. And I think we have to take a positive from the Fulham game. You know, we kept a clean sheet, and obviously the penalty save was a bit of luck in there. But I think you've got to take that as a positive for the defensive unit, their first clean sheet of the season, and we move on from there. But I think we did need that impetus, fresh legs to come into the squad to really drive us on and drive us forward, because there's so much potential there. It's just really finding the right combinations now for us to move on.
And Tomo, there is an element, and we'll talk about the team news in just a second, because obviously there is an awful lot going on around this football club at the moment. But one of the elements of a player departing, really, that we should touch on before we do anything else, is the departure of Morgan Gibbs-White, because 14 years at the football club, we have seen the development of him quite literally from boy to man. And I don't know about you, there is a somewhat of a sadness that he's had to go and further himself elsewhere, and yet a deal that the club simply couldn't turn down.
No, so at the end of the day, so like Nottingham Forest wanted him, didn't they? So without doubt, with the amount of money that they wanted to spend on him, he was on loan, I know, with Cooper at Swansea. Under him, I think he was with him with the England setup as well. So look, sometimes it just doesn't work out as a club, and you look at the loans that he's had. Swansea, he's had the Sheffield United, which people have raved about him, but we haven't seen any glimpses of that as such, and the consistency that he's put into those games. So look, it's a good sum of money that the club have got for him. It's a shame that he's as a local boy and he's had to go somewhere else, but at the end of the day, sometimes it just doesn't work out at a club, and unfortunately never really got to the heights of what he got when he was on loan, and unfortunately he's had to leave. But good luck to him. So look, he's at the end of the day, I'm hoping he ain't going to be doing all these assists and goals for Forest, but look, say it's people have got to move on, and that's just football. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter if it's your own club or not. So sometimes it just doesn't feel right, or it just doesn't happen for you, and he's got to go out there. He's still young enough to go out there and prove himself and make even more out of it in the Premiership. He'll play every week there, which is the thing that he wanted, and we probably couldn't promise him that. But look, good luck to him. So look, at the end of the day, say sometimes you've got to move on just to get the best what you can.
Claire, I've often said that sometimes you have to work harder and be even more impressive and 8 9s out of 10 every week rather than 7s or 8s, because you're the homegrown talent, because the club hasn't spent money on you. So you have to prove yourself in an entirely different way, from the supporters to everyone else around the club. And you look at Morgan and the way he played in the first 2 games, felt like he was doing that. This is the first year that we've actually been playing a formation that felt like it could get the most from him. But like Tomo's just been saying, there is that element, isn't there, that the offer from Nottingham Forest, it just makes too much sense to be able to turn that down.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's every Wolves fan would say you wanted Morgan to come off this season. We wanted him to come and do what he did for Sheffield last season for us on the pitch and score goals, get the assists. The formation would look brilliant for him. He did well in the first 2 games as well. Obviously missed that chance last week. That would have been a brilliant send off for him, wouldn't it? But I just feel like at the time was probably right. I don't think the club could turn down that level of money. But also huge credit to the academy, isn't it? That he's a homegrown player and he's gone for that amount of money. I think I saw somewhere it was like the top 10 English players that have, transfer fee wise. And I think that's just incredible. And credit to him on how hard he's worked when he's had a lot of knockbacks and not played massive parts in the squad in the last couple of seasons. But to go and do what he did last season at Sheffield United and start so well with us this season as well, we'd have loved him to come off and do it for us. But I think it's the right move for him and probably the right move for the club as well. And he does need to be playing week in, week out. And I think we look forward to following him. I think his statement that he made yesterday was fantastic, and I think he nailed it. He'll be a Wolves fan and he'll follow us, and that's kind of everything that you wanted to hear in the statement that he made.
Yeah, absolutely. And Morgan, if you're watching this, I know you probably won't, but you are an inspiration to a number of young players who will hopefully follow in your footsteps, that can make something of themselves in this game and come from Stafford, come from Wolverhampton, come from anywhere in the surrounding areas and make a mark at Wolverhampton Wanderers. You live the dream, go and smash it elsewhere. Hopefully this isn't the end of the journey of Morgan Gibbs-White and Wolverhampton Wanderers, and he can come back in a few years' time as a fully fledged Premier League, maybe even an international, and light it up in Molineux once more, as long as he's wearing a gold shirt and not a red one. But Tomo's already made that point, and it's a very important point to make. Let's take a look back at Morgan's performance and the performance of everyone else in the goalless draw against Fulham last time out.
Pedent, base of the centre circle. He's in, trying to drill it through to Neto. Flag has stayed down. Pedro Neto, left-hand side of the penalty area, tries to strike it goalwards, comes back to him, heads it in field. Dendoncker can't quite get there. Ball still not fully cleared, and eventually an offside flag has gone up. And now Neves can try and set Podence away. Podence early. Hee-Chan Wang trying to run in behind down the left-hand side. Into the penalty area. The South Koreans are striking low and it's turned away at the near post. And it'll be a Wolves throw. Nuri. That's a good ball looking to Neto. Goalkeeper came and collided with his own defender, Pedro Neto. Oh, how has he not scored? It's going to come to Daniel Podence. And he's fired it across the face of goal and wide. Trying to play it in behind. It's a good ball down the line for Nuri. Nuri towards the byline. Low cross in. Oh, Gibbs-White, brilliant chance.
Oh, there's your chance.
Arrived to him really late, stretched out, edge of the 6-yard box. He can't believe it. Sent it high into the stand. Out to the right-hand side. Beckled over Reed. Needs to work it down the line to Harrison Reed. Now Andreas Pereira. Slipped in behind. Nuri, clumsy challenge. That's a penalty. Fulham spot kick. Nuri didn't know where his man was behind him. Stuck out a leg. Mitrovic right-footed in front of the North Bank. And Jose Sarr saves! And Leander Dendoncker clears the follower. And Molineux has come alive thanks to their goalkeeper, Jose Sarr.
A lot has happened since our 0-0 draw with Fulham last weekend, and today we go again. This morning we are in the capital at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for today's early kickoff, Spurs versus Wolves. The players travelled down to London last night and they had our record signing Matheus Nunes in tow. He settled in well over the past few days, reuniting with some old faces, and today here in London he's going to be making his Wolves debut. When we were last here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we came away with all 3 points thanks to 2 early goals from Raul Jimenez and Leander Dendoncker. In fact, of our last 4 Premier League away trips to Tottenham Hotspur, we've won 3 of them, and we want another one here today as we look for that first win of the new season. Antonio Conte's side had an eventful outing last weekend, coming away with a point in the final moments of the game. Thomas Tuchel had a lot to say about it, but unlike the Chelsea manager, Antonio Conte does not have a touchline ban here for this afternoon's match, so he will be alongside Bruno Lage on the touchline for today's game. It's set to be a warm and sunny afternoon again here today in London. There are some train strikes, so if you've managed to brave them and get down here another way, then we will see you at the stadium, but if not, don't worry, we're live on TV in the UK, and of course you can catch up with all the commentary as usual from Mikey Burrows and Andy Thompson. Kickoff is at 12:30 p.m.
Jeremy Frith a little bit earlier on. This stadium is filling up nicely now. There's the starting lineup and there's the all-important man we'll talk about in just a second. Matheus Nunes, Wolves record signing, having arrived from Sporting this week. What a player to have in the building. Hopefully is going to be a huge success. He's in a revamped midfield, the return of João Moutinho as well, and with no Morgan Gibbs-White, Gonzalo Guedes starts his first Wolves 90 minutes hopefully, but definitely the first start for Gonzalo Guedes for Wolves. So 4-3-3, slightly different formation than what we've seen in the opening couple of games, but there is the return. On the bench, you can just about see it in small writing. Raul Jimenez is back. There's Dendoncker dropping to the bench. Nelson Semedo, Adama Traore. Suddenly, it looks like quite a strong squad here, Andy Thompson. And interesting to see straight away, Bruno has gone with that midfield 3. 3 Portuguese players who all know each other very well. It'll be interesting to see how they complement each other in that midfield.
Yeah, that'll be the big things. And look, they played with the national team with each other as well, which is going to be a big help. But look, they've gone out and they've spent big money, so they've brought in some quality players. I know there was a good buzz around the air about Nunes come to the club. So look, it's great that they've gone out there. We was wondering when it was going to happen, whether or not we were going to bring in some signings. And he's gone out there and they say, look, they've thrown quite a lot at it. I know they're still looking probably for a striker as well before the transfer deadline. But yeah, it's nice to see those players coming in. I'm hoping that they're going to get us on that score sheet, what we need to do and score. But yeah, it shows you that we're going the right way, and we've said it before that we needed to bring players in of quality, and we've done that.
It's interesting, Claire. I'm actually watching them warm up at the moment, and it looks like Pedence might just kind of come from the inside right and Guedes through the middle. They can go with Pedence through the middle. We'll show a clip in a second of Pedence being weirdly physical here. So, you know, the lack of size isn't necessarily an issue, but Wolves still kind of don't have that out-and-out number 9.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the concern, isn't it? That cutting edge, and obviously, at least now looking at our bench compared to the Leeds game, obviously we looked at the bench and we had, you know, Chem Campbell was our only option. You look to it now and you've got Hwang, who I thought has actually started the first 2 games fairly brightly, and also Jimenez as well. So it's, you know, there's a lot more for us to go out there with Traore as well. So I think you need that competition for places, don't you? Because I think it will be interchanging those players to find our best combination. But I think Guedes, I think you know, it's great to see him starting. I think he's, you know, although he is probably a winger mainly, he does operate as a second striker as well. So I imagine he'll be the focal point, and then we'll have Podence and Neto supporting.
So it might just be the way they're doing it in warm-up, but you might notice Tom and I are distracted at watching them, how they've set up with Nunes on the right of the midfield 3, Moutinho on the left, and say Gonzalo Guedes through the middle. It's going to be fascinating to see how that all goes. But Bruno Lage, no doubt a happy man this week. He's had 2 big signings come in the last 10 days. Here he is talking ahead of this game.
Just finally from me, you mentioned Antonio Conte, who you'll see tomorrow. I'm sure you'll have seen it got quite feisty with him and Thomas Tuchel last week. He said that will happen again with him as a manager. Are you ready to handle yourself if it gets quite lively?
Look, for me, this kind of things sometimes can happen. It's part of the game, the emotion of the game. I saw the game. The last 10 minutes, it was so emotion. So Chelsea score after they draw. So look, it's part of the game. Also, me and Jess in the first game, we changed some words, and I can say to you, and it's good that's a good example. Just now when I was checking my email, I have one email for him, and I want to say that for me it's past. So continue next time when leagues come. I will be there in the touchline to check his hand, because this is part of the game, and in the end is the examples like Jess did, to fair play and to finish. So you don't need to send the email because it's passed to me, but I want to say here in the press conference that it was a good example, and it feel good receiving his email. And I can say in front of the cameras, for me, no, is in the past, and we big welcome when he come to play and Molyneux, and I will be there in the touchline to check his hand.
He's always got an air of authority, Tomo, Bruno Lage, but I imagine deep inside, and we've seen some of the videos, and we'll see Nunes going on a bit of a tour and meeting his teammates in a second, but Bruno looks a happy man. Must be really delighted inside, because he's been calling to get this kind of support, these kind of players through the door, and he's getting them.
Yeah, and it's the players that he wants as well, more importantly. So it's just nice just to get to say, look, I'm a manager, I want to bring in certain people. And it looked like he was restricted to a certain way, but all of a sudden then he's been able to do the transfer market and able to bring in some of the players that he wants to. And look, he's still got Nuno's, the majority of Nuno's players. But he wants to be judged on his own merit, and that's what you've got to have your own players in. So that's what he's done. He's gone out there, he's got the players in that he wants so far. I still think we're going to possibly have 1 or 2 players before the transfer deadline to come in. I'm sure that he's looking at a centre forward. But these are the things that are going to determine about the manager. And of course it's going to make him happy. Of course he's going to probably put a smile on his face. I still think we're going to see him ranting and raving on the touchline. But I still think that Sellock, he's still got a chance and an opportunity to show what kind of quality that he actually wants into the team. And again, I've listened to some of my friends who know a lot about this Nunes coming in, and they've raved about him a lot, saying he's a quality player, and that's what we want at the club.
And the thing is, watching this, Claire, you can see the impact that it has on other players around the place. You know, obviously, a lot of them know him, of course they do, but even for players who don't, it's the impact of seeing someone that they really do rate is coming in the building and joining them.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, he's a huge signing, isn't he? I think it will no doubt create a real buzz around Compton and around training. And again, it adds extra competition in the midfield, which we desperately needed. I mean, everything that I've read about Nunes, you can't help but be impressed. I mean, you saw his goal last week for Sporting as he signed off, was an absolute rocket from distance. I don't think he's necessarily his trademark, but great to see that he's got that in his locker. I mean, it sounds like all the bits that I'm reading, he's a box-to-box player. He loves to break the lines. He wants to get us on the attack as soon as possible. So the philosophy that Bruno's trying to bring in this season, where we're trying to attack with intent, I think he'll fit perfectly into that system. And his physicality, he's got great stature in there as well. I think it just adds something to our midfield that we were definitely missing.
Yeah, and it's just going to bring something a little bit extra, isn't he? We've been crying out for something a bit different in that midfield area, Tomo. There'll be a lot of pressure on him as the record signing, but looking at him, he looks like the kind of guy that might enjoy that on his shoulders.
Yeah, but look, if you've got quality, it doesn't matter, does it? So look, you know that you can deal with it, and that's the important bit, where he knows, because of his quality and what he's got to offer the club, that he can deal with it. And you saw there him going around the training ground. It's great that he's going to be settled in, or a lot quicker settling in, because of the amount of Portuguese that we've got in actually the squad and around the club. And it does make a massive difference. You see how comfortable he was with everybody when he's going around the training ground and introducing himself. But as we touched on before, he knows a lot of the players from the Portuguese side. And that's what we want. We want to see a player that comes in and straight away he starts to offer the team, the squad, opportunities on that pitch. And I'm sure that he's going to do that.
So you and I, Claire, have never experienced that, but every time Tomo goes into the local bars and pubs around about where he lives, then obviously it's similar to that, and everyone's like, hey, here he is again, welcome. Everybody wants to be friends with him. Let's hear a little bit of Matheus Nunes. Here he is talking to Gemma Free.
Matheus, welcome to the pack. Are you excited to get started?
Yes, very excited. For me, I could play tomorrow already, but I can't because the game is Saturday, but I'm looking forward to it.
What was it about Wolves that convinced you to make the move?
I think the club itself, and also I spoke to some of my teammates because I play with them in the national team. The coach as well. The coach really wanted me. And yes, I wanted to play for the Premier League. I think is the right next step for me, and I'm very happy to be here.
Which players did you speak to beforehand? What did they say?
Ruben, Moutinho. I spoke to all of them. I asked stuff, and yeah, they all said great stuff about the club, that I should come. Sa as well. So yes, I'm glad to be here.
And how much did speaking to Bruno have an influence on your decision as well?
A lot, of course, because I wanted to know what the Mr. expects from me, and it's good to know that he has a lot of expectations on me, that he believes in me, and just that gives me a will to work hard and just to prove that he's right as well.
What are your goals? What would you like to achieve in your time here at Wolves?
I just want to help the club to achieve the goals and to try to reach as high as we can in the table, make the most points we can, and yeah, win as many games as we can.
Well, you faced Wolves just a month ago in pre-season. It feels like it wasn't that long ago at all. What were your teammates like to play against then?
They were all good, yeah, for sure. Like I said, they were fantastic and they talked a lot of good stuff. I could tell that they had a lot of quality as well, because I've seen them on the TV, but in person it's different. And yes, I'm just happy to be here with them.
Did you have any idea then that you might want to make this move, or has it happened a lot more recently?
No, you had been talks a lot about this before, but it happened really quick. It actually happened really quick. Yeah, but I feel I'm prepared and I'm ready. And yeah, like I said, if I could, I would play already tomorrow.
Are you looking forward then to playing in the Premier League?
Yes, I want to play for the fans. I want to make the most of it, to enjoy myself and just help the club, yeah.
Do you think you're suited to playing in this league and at this level now at this point in your career?
Yeah, for sure. I've wanted to come here for a long time now. This is the best league in the world for sure. And yes, like I said, it's the best step for me and I'm ready.
Well, I have to say, your English is fantastic. I hear you've got some family here in the UK as well.
Yeah, my stepdad is actually from Sunderland.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, yeah, I learned with him English since I was a little kid. School as well, because school taught me a lot. And yeah, I just learned from a young age. And when you learn when you're a kid, it's much easier.
Well, the fans are very happy to have you here now in Wolverhampton, here at Wolves, signing for the club. Do you have a message for them?
Yeah, for sure. Just want to enjoy myself and deliver to your expectations and help the club and just try to make you enjoy our football.
Well, brilliant. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on Saturday, hopefully.
Matheus Nunes speaks good English, looks very happy to be here, and we're all very happy that he's here as well. Hopefully he can play his part in continuing some good form that Wolves have had here away at Spurs. Let's take a look back at the last meeting between these two.
Comfortable header away. This is Neves. Keeping things alive. Cody. Neves might open out for the strike on goal. It's going to come to Dendoncker. Lloris's touch. It's Raul Jimenez. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from the Mexican sensation. The 53rd Wolves goal of his career on his 133rd Wolves appearance. Lloris, a little bit of a mistake. He's put Davis under some pressure. And that clearance intercepted by Dendoncker. This is Semedo. Daniel Pedence with the opportunity. It's ricocheted. It's going to fall to Dendoncker. It's Leander Dendoncker who's there. Wolves double their lead early on at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 26 Premier League appearances without a goal ends for the brilliant Belgian. It's going to drop here for Jimenez. That's a good strike and an equally good save by Hugo Lloris. He's full of confidence now, Raul Jimenez. Here's Son. Chance to shoot. Good save by the feet of Sarr. Son's effort met by the goalkeeper. Son trying to get him behind. Brilliant. Brilliant by Max Kilman. Stunning defending when it looked like Son was clean in on goal. Dangerous ball in. It's going to come to Winks to strike it. Oh, good effort. Really good effort. I think there's a deflection on the way through. Big opportunity. Kulusevski couldn't find the target. It's not Spurs afternoon. Big header, big opportunity, and Christian Romero denied by Jose Sarr. He's working hard for his clean sheet.
It was a great result last time out. It was in a time when it was a little bit surprised, I guess, because we were playing Arsenal around that time and West Ham, and fixtures were difficult, but it was a really impressive result. The question is, Tomo, how different do you think Spurs are now from the team that we faced then, and what are you expecting from them today?
Well, you've got a Spurs side that the manager's a lot happier than he was last time we played, I think. There was all talk about him leaving the club, not happy with the way that things had gone. Now, he's been able to buy some and bring some players in. Since then, he's brought quality in. Richarlison from Everton, Stallock, who we know has always been a threat against us when he plays us, and Son and Kane up front. So you look at the front three, what they've got, but let's say he's improved the squad, and I think it's the mentality of it as well, that never give up attitude that he's got, and that comes all from the manager. And look, say it's going to be a difficult game today, without a doubt, and we've just got to be up for the battle and the fight, because say they've got quality, but I think they've got that little bit of grit about them now, what's portrayed by the manager.
It's funny, isn't it, Claire, though? You know, they've had a win and a draw. They beat a Southampton team who've not started the season great and had a battling performance at Chelsea. But you listen to the kind of national phone-ins and all that kind of stuff, and everyone's kind of going, oh, Tottenham are in a title race. Tottenham are definitely Champions League place. That kind of suits us, right? Coming here in this type of game where all the expectations on them.
Yeah, 100%. I think they'll be desperate to try and keep up with the Man Cities and Liverpools, won't they? So, but 4 points from 6 is a strong start, and obviously scored 6 goals, but they are conceding, you know, in both games that have conceded so far. I think for us, shoring up the midfield is key today. I was pleased to see that we've added that extra midfielder, and obviously a lot of that's been down to players available, but I think that's really key today, just to give us that solidity in the midfield area. But I think we'll go for it. I think we'll push on and we'll try and play our football and take this new philosophy to them. And I think it'll be a tricky game. They're so strong in attack, so I think our back four are going to have a challenge today. And we know Aït-Nouri's been a little bit naive with his defending maybe the last 2 games, just a couple of moments where he's let himself down defensively, but we know what he's got going forward, and hopefully that's where we step up today.
Don't forget, by the way, full live commentary from Tomo and myself is available at wolves.co.uk, around the world on the move via the Wolves app. And of course, you can send us a message, use the hashtag WolvesLive on social media to get in touch. Claire will be back with us at half time and at full time. And all the reaction, of course, is at wolves.co.uk and across the social media channels. Let's get a quick prediction from the pair of you. Claire, you can go first. Hopefully you'll steal Tomo's 2-1 and he'll be in big trouble because I won't allow him. I've got to do one. I've got a new one, mate. Got a new one. Go for it, Claire.
I'm gonna go 1-1. So I'd take a point here all day. I think it would, I think it'd be still a big achievement starting out. I'd love a win, obviously, but I'm feeling a little bit of a 1-1 score draw.
Go on, Tomo.
Okay, I'm going to be bold. I'm going past my 2-1. I'm going to go 3-2 Wolves.
Oh.
I think we're going to actually start scoring. I'm hoping.
Sounds like a great game.
What people don't know is that Tomo's friends, we all know who we're talking about in Friend, is hospitality today. And so Tomo's been here since about 7 a.m., which is way earlier than he's normally here. He's had a lot of time to kill. He's eaten a lot of free food. He doesn't know what's going on, and it's gone through his head, and he's expecting a thriller. As ever, I will go 1-0. Any kind of Wolves result is important today. We will leave you with a classic game that had the 3-2 scoreline Tomo's predicting. It's almost like we know what we're doing. We obviously don't, but it's almost like we do know what we're doing. And then, of course, make sure you switch over for live commentary. See you soon. Come on, you Wolves.
Again, Lo Celso for Aurier. Low ball in, all the way through. Ali's shot, first save, but turned home on the follow-up. Bergwijn is there. Goes left to Saiz. Down the line for Vinagre, infield to Jota, flicks it down the line, and Vinagre is in behind Sanchez, looking up. Can he pick someone out in the penalty area? To the byline, fires it across goal. It's going to drop to Doherty, who had to score. Matt Doherty draws Wolves level. 26.5 minutes played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There's Winks, Bergwijn, infield to Ali, middle of the half, onto Aurier, right hand side of the penalty area, cutting on his left foot, curling it. Oh, it's a great goal. It's a brilliant finish, and Spurs have their lead back. Wolves survived a big threat a moment ago, but they could not survive that. Traore trying to get away from Tanganga, onto Jimenez, edge of the box, to Doherty, continuing his run, it's tapped home by Diogo Jota, and Wolves have got themselves level. What a swift counter-attack goal! Made by Adama Traore. Brilliant play. Doherty, who scored one, has turned provider. To the box, Moutinho down for Vinagre. Vinagre trying to clip it forwards to Jota. Oh, what a turn by Jota, leaving Lucas Moura for dead. Now driving deep into the Spurs half. If he looks up, he can try and feed it to the path of Jimenez. Jimenez into the area, back onto his left foot. Raúl Jimenez! Raúl Jimenez gives Wolves the lead. Oh my word, that is stunning. What a goal from Wolverhampton Wanderers. From the run from Jota, the feed to the Mexican sensation. It's not been his best game, but he cut onto his left foot and he finds the far corner.
See the law of this jungle, it's as old and as real as the sky. And the wolf that abides will prosper, but a wolf that breaks it will die. You see out here in this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. I used to run with the pack, nowadays I run for the pack. Represent from the front to the back, balls in my heart, my city on the map. I was in the field, you're sitting on the bench. See me in the gym, rep till I'm bench. Sweat till I win, that's a victory stench. Yeah, we stay ready for the war, man, I settle in the score. Right now I'm with the hype, I ain't in it for the light. I was down to the ground, now I'm up for the fight. See sight at the dark, now it's into the light. Out for more, down for my team. I wake up and I'm chasing a dream. Doom dirt from my crap, stay clean. Step for me, rude, boy, how you mean? Look at my count with the verses. He's cheating him and I'm on a verse with. Prize fighter, I'm taking the purses. Death match and death, I'm reaching hearses. The law of this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. See out here in this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the